let's stay with this theme on the quarterback thing, as long as we're talking about Geno Smith. And I'm trying to find a connection here. Maybe you can come up with something. Is there a problem with this younger generation of quarterbacks? And let me tell you why I ask this. Geno Smith gets punched by a teammate in his own locker room. Cam Newton gets into a scuffle with a teammate on the practice field. And there are rumors that Colin Kaepernick recently had an altercation. Rumors, not substantiated. But he had an altercation with a teammate on the 49ers. What is going on here with this younger generation of quarterbacks? And why do we never hear that about Manning, Breeze, Brady, Rodgers? Is there something there, Woody?
Yes, there is. And again, I repeat, I think this may be the best question you've ever come up with.
Well, thank you. Do I get that trophy?
I'll get
Can I have it? Just for a day?
I'll get you the other one.
Okay.
You put it back together if you can. Millennials. And when we started the show, I was talking about our interns, and I say it somewhat disrespectfully, but it's also facetiously. But I think that people in their 20s have a different attitude than people in their 30s and 40s. And is that good or bad? I think there is an entitled generation. And I think those quarterbacks, I'm going to kind of answer this two different ways. I think those younger quarterbacks are not going to put up with stuff. They feel more entitled than quarterbacks of other different generations. And you can go throughout the league. But let me take it just a little bit farther. All of these quarterbacks coming out, with the exception of one, are really struggling to adapt to the NFL.
Yes.
And I'm talking about guys coming out of spread offenses. I'm talking about RG3. I'm talking about E.J. Manuel in Buffalo. We're talking about Geno Smith that played at West Virginia.
Guys who had a tremendous amount of success in college who are struggling and frustrated on the pro level.
So what is the one difference with Andrew Luck and all those other guys when you think about it?
Maturity. Brains, maturity.
School.
Yeah. Stanford.
Stanford is recognized as one of the best educational institutions, played for good coaches there, but also played as a pocket quarterback.
Yeah.
What the NFL is trying to do is take everybody from Tim Tebow, who you love so much, to Geno Smith, who played in a passing offense at West Virginia, but it was a spread kind of passing offense.
Marcus Mariota.
All these guys are coming out of systems that don't really fit the NFL. So I don't know whether that leads to frustration or it leads to teammates who are not getting out of the... Because
I asked the question at Broncos camp today. I talked to an executive about it. I brought this question up. You know what his answer was? They don't know how to lead. It's been all about them. They had all the success in college. They're coming to another level. They're frustrated because they're not adapting or acclimating well. And instead of acting in a mature manner like an Andrew Luck or like many of the quarterbacks, the veteran quarterbacks I mentioned before, they don't know how to handle this. They've never run into this before. It's always been handed to them on a platter. Back to your thing about millennials. Entitlement.
Let's take it, that specific case in New York that's now brought up your question.
Geno Smith.
He's your quarterback. Really? $600? And we know that the argument and the punch resulted from E.J. Manuel Geno Smith not going to a camp in Texas.
Yes.
And
claims he had to attend a funeral instead.
Gave him $600 plane ticket. You're the leader of the team. You're making good money. Pay it back.
Just
act like you're somebody that is of leadership quality. Now now you're getting into a petty argument with somebody that's on your team. That's not acting like a leader. That's like acting as his coach said, 8th graders. I mean, that Todd Bowles put it. He said it was a matter that was treated like 8th graders when they could have just settled it very easily. Here, let me write you a check. Here, let's go to the ATM machine. Let's go out and have a beer. Let me get the money out of an ATM machine and give it back to you. But I'm sure I had to go to a funeral and, I don't like your attitude. And rather than Peyton Manning or Tom Brady goes, hey, let's sit down and work this out and let's get this over with.
Yeah, and by the way, the story goes, for those unaware, there are a few more details coming out. According to reports, according to sources inside the locker room, Enampoli was bothered that Geno Smith would not pay him the $600 for the plane ticket. So he started bitching about it in the locker room, and
Geno Smith got in his face, pointed a finger at him, and he responded
and
with
then
a
he
punch.
cold-cocked him.
Is that really okay? These are two young players, but we go back to they both felt entitled. The guy coming out of Louisiana Tech's getting a chance. He thinks he's a big guy. He had punched out a security guard. He said, well, I didn't know he was an undercover cop. According to reports out of Louisiana, where he got into trouble before with this kind of action, was the guy had a cap that said police on it. And he was definitely identifiable, and he thought he was an undercover cop giving grief, or, private, what we used to call rent-a-cop, security guard. He wasn't. He was a member of the police force. So again, someone's got to do a better job of leading and teaching these young quarterbacks. Kaepernick, he was sensational when they went to the Super Bowl. Then he's fallen off the map. Last year he was not any good. Go around and look at what do these guys have in common. They are young, they're immature, not leaders, and they feel entitled.
Yeah. We just solved that problem. All right, all guests brought to you by Papa John's, the official sponsor of the Colorado Rockies. So the day after every Colorado Rockies win, not today unfortunately, you get 50% off your
last
pizza
I checked,
order.
they were down by 6, so did they end up losing again?
They've lost today again, so you don't get 50% off tomorrow either. But keep this in mind for when the Rockies do win. You get 50% off your regular menu price online order. You have to go to papajohns.com and you have to use the promo code ROXWIN, ROXWIN.